Good evening, I hope everyone's well today, thank you for watching. My MP, Sarah Pochin, for Overton and Helsby, asked the Prime Minister a reasonable question in the House of Commons today, and the Prime Minister didn't even see fit to answer the question. All he did was deflect. I want you to look at the video and then we can have a conversation about whether you think that the Prime Minister's response was acceptable and ask the broader questions that I want to ask in this video.
Given the Prime Minister's desire to strengthen strategic alignment with our European neighbours, will he, in the interests of public safety, follow the lead of France, Denmark, Belgium and others and ban the burqa?
Prime Minister. Can I welcome her to our place? But I'm not going to follow her down that line. But now she is here and safely in her place, perhaps she could tell her new party leader that his latest plan to bet £80 billion of unfunded tax cuts, with no idea how he's going to pay for it, is Liz Truss all over again. Although, considering I think she was a Conservative member when Liz Truss was leader, I should probably be running.
Okay, so he didn't answer the question. It's a very simple question. If other European nations that Keir Starmer is in love with, that are in the European Union, such as France, Belgium and Denmark, have banned the burqa, why is Britain so special? Why can't Britain do the same? Is Islam, macro Islam, is it incompatible with the Western world? My opinion would be yes, it is. You will always get moderate Muslims, you will always get what Sadiq Khan would say are Uncle Toms, that don't think women should be segregated away from the men and think that men and women should be treated equally. Okay, this is the exception, not the rule. We're meant to be in a society that wants equality, surely, and if that's the case, then what I've seen on the weekend at the PSG match in the Champions League final was unacceptable. Let's just have a look at what happened in France.
Wow!
How are you guys?
You okay?
How are you, sir?
Nice to meet you. Welcome to the show. Apologise, thank you so much.
How are you?
Habib, the UFC fighter, it is a pleasure to have you. We didn't know you were here.
This guy, me, you.
You're a big PSG fan?
Yes.
Always have been? Lifelong?
Honestly, since when I was kid, I was Real Madrid fan.
Okay.
Wow.
So, we have a female pundit presenter at the Champions League final, and the UFC fighter refused to shake her hand. Is that compatible with the West? Is that what we want in the West? Do you think that these values should be tolerated in the West? I don't. Me personally, if a man went to shake my hand after he refused to shake a woman's hand because she's a woman and it offends him, well, I would say no. You offend me. I'm not shaking your hand. You can jog on. Again, your mileage may vary on that point. And then I think Charlie Kirk said it best when he was on GB News recently. So I'm going to play the video and let it speak for itself.
The question is macro Islam compatible with Western values? Macro. Of course it's not. There are three major reasons why. Islam does not believe in freedom of speech, Islam does not believe in freedom of religion, and Islam does not believe in separation of mosque and state. Those three things are antithetical to the West. In a Muslim-majority country, most Muslim-majority countries, you cannot criticize the Prophet Muhammad. In most Muslim-majority countries, you do not have the same robust freedom of religion protections. And finally, whereas we in the West are very careful to try to intermix religion and state, they are commanded to actually go into the state and try to change the state to be more Islamic around the core pillars of Islam. And the last thing I'll finally say is, I cannot see a single Western country that has become more Islamic and has become a better place to live that is happier or freer. By what measure?
That actual clip does go for longer, but you pretty much get the point. I concur with what Charlie said in that particular video. I think we need to be very careful about what cultures we invite into the West and make sure that if they are being imported in, they are being imported in numbers that can be managed and numbers that can actually assimilate successfully. We've had pundits on TV today calling my MP racist for saying that the burqa should be banned. I'm going to be very, very clear on this. Crystal clear. Okay. Islam is not a race. It is not racist to say if you are in the West, you adhere to our cultural standards and our cultural norms. In the West, women are treated equally to men. It's as simple as that. If you don't like it, you can jog on. People are a bit negative about the comments that Sarah made today. You may argue, arguably, the right to be negative. You could argue that they're not. Rupert Lowe, for example, says that he supports Sarah Pochin's comments in the Commons, as I do as one of her constituents, but it's not reform policy, and then goes on to say she's probably going to be suspended. I would probably say no, she won't be suspended for this. This would have been agreed with Nigel. What it does what I'm doing here in this video, and it opens the conversation to a wider audience. By bringing these topics up in the House of Commons, it gives people like me permission to pass comments on it, TV shows to pass comments on it, and actually get the Overton window to where it needs to be. One of the people I have a lot of respect for, a good chap called Lewis Brackpool, said it better than I did, so I'll just read out what he put. He said he never thought that he'd see the Overton window shift far enough in the Telegraph to report this so openly. The headline, "White British people will be a minority in 40 years, report claims. The shifting ethnic dynamic of the UK driven by immigration predicted to cause dramatic changes." It's conversations like that and headlines like that in the Telegraph that give me hope and optimism for the future of the United Kingdom and the wider Western world. 10 years ago, well, last year, people would have been afraid of being called racist, like the people on GB News today, the pundits on GB News today, were calling people racist for saying that now Islamic garb, traditional Islamic garb, is alien, is foreign to the United Kingdom and wider Western world. It is. That's stating a fact. That's not to cause racial tensions. That's not to stir up hatred. That is to state a fact, which is what I am doing here. And this is why I'm optimistic, and this is why I find it a positive step in the right direction. And we need to celebrate the little wins when we get them, which is what I'm doing here. Now, if you like this video and you think my MP is onto something, drop her an email, tell her thank you, like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. As always, comment below, and thank you for your time. You have a good day.